Almost 2 weeks until draft time. We're doing our top 30 visits for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go.
I just feel like it's been a while since we've seen an ass whooping. Like I'm talking about like Denver, Seattle ass whooping from
fucking. I want that. So
from fucking kickoff to the end of the game, just a complete ass whooping. What
can I say except you're welcome?
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground. Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight. Give them nothing!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Let the games begin. This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die! Yeah, I think,
I'm going to Disney World.
Never gets old. Might clean that up a little bit, man. But every time it starts, I kind of like, damn, the party's not over yet. The party's not over until it's kickoff time, right? The party keeps going on. What's going on, everybody? This is Victory Monday Pod. We are doing our top 30 visits today for the Philadelphia Eagles. I am the host. They call me Moss Money, and that is the GM, Ernie B. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. Really happy to be here. I got to get on you, though. I believe it was about 2 episodes, though. You closed the intro with saying that you were going to crop CD Deuce out of the end there. And as much as I love CJ Gardner-Johnson, we got to clean it up a little bit.
But I like it.
just crop my face on him. Just crop my face. We can have me looking back. You know what I mean?
Right.
The crowd to sleep. It's
No,
we have some what do we call it? We have some IT work to get done on the back end. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna clean it up because there's another one. I found another video that I saved where you had the Chiefs talking about we're gonna three-peat. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and then I think it's a little long too.
No, it's the perfect length.
Perfect. Keep it the same.
Length. I want to see that video of Devontae and AJ in that preseason workout or whatever, and that they somehow had a mic on him. I think it was a practice, and Saquon juked somebody out. Devontae and AJ look at each other when he's holding his jersey. Look back.
Oh yeah. Like
said, whoa.
Yeah, right. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So we are here to do our top 30 visits. We're not going to go through all 30, but we're going to highlight the players that we think are going to be there in round one. We got some film to look at, so that should be fun. And then we'll go through the rest of the list, our day twos and our day threes, kind of get into the weeds of it. So let's start off who I think.
Right into it. I love it.
Yeah, right into it.
I love it. It's my favorite season.
Yeah,
it's my favorite season. I love it.
We got something else to talk about? Something else I missed?
Hey, I'm good.
Okay. So this is out of the 30 visits, this is probably the player that I like the most. And obviously being biased, being a defensive lineman. Mr. Boston College edge, Donovan Ezeiruaku, had a great season last year. What was he at? 16 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, 20 tackles for loss, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, All-American. Production just crazy, and kind of local kid, right out of South Jersey, Williamstown High School. High School. So obviously he's going to be a first-round pick this year, in my opinion, especially with all the where he ranks as the pass rushers. Again, probably other pass rushers that we've seen, even the top ones with Carter. Who's the kid from Georgia?
Michael and Jalen, but they don't sniff Carter as a prospect, as an edge prospect. I mean,
as an edge prospect. I'm talking about where I was going with that, and we're going to look at the film real quick too here. I was thinking polished, like who's a finished product, and I feel like Donovan's like NFL finished product ready.
Not to dive too deep into it, but I think Ezeiruaku is a player that you have seen consistent growth from, and a lot of people are overvaluing natural growth. And that's not knocking the player at all. I just think that was good coaching. They've got Bill O'Brien down there for the past couple of years. So, I mean, they're coached at a well level. I think Ezeiruaku is a player that has benefited from hard work and good coaching. But, I mean, let's talk about the player, man. You're talking about a guy that's got ridiculously long arms. So let's start about the frame.
Mhm.
We're looking at 6'2", 248. A lot of guys, would talk about Ojulari's size, Uche's size, Nolan Smith's size, Jalen Hunt's size. That's the ideal build for a Vic Fangio edge rusher, is a long-armed, more of a V-shaped build. You want to have tight hips with an upper broad shoulders.
Mhm.
The thing that Ezeiruaku lacks that these other guys have, especially Jalen Hunt, because I know you're a big Jalen Hunt guy, is fluidity in his movement. He's very choppy. And I
think he's just a bigger guy. He's just a naturally bigger build.
He's not, though, at 6'2", 248. The only thing he has is he has offensive line arms at 34 inches. So, I mean, the only thing he has is a couple extra inches on the arms.
But I mean, when you look at Hunt and you look at Nolan, they were all light in the ass coming into the league.
He is too, very much so.
I mean, but Nolan wasn't sniffing 240 coming.
This is the problem. Brian Burns came out at 228, something around like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were questions of whether or not Brian Burns could add to his frame.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the people that thought, I mean, hell, look at the kid. He can add weight to his frame.
Yeah.
Like to think that Ezeiruaku can add weight to his frame. But I don't know because he is so rocked up as he sits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where I like the player a lot, but he's built like a brick shithouse, and yet he only put up 22 reps a bench. Just so people are aware, the edge rushers put up just as much weight as the cornerbacks do. And I believe Quinyon Mitchell had 22 reps. Anaya Smith had like 19, So you got all this, you got all this bodybuilding, and yet you don't have, I don't know. I see a player that is built well. I like the frame. I do like the player. I really like the production. I see a choppy edge rusher that doesn't have enough tools in the tool basket and that he needs to add more. Do I think he could develop and be great? Sure, that's fine. But pick 32 is as high as I would take the player.
Okay. Yeah, Lost Files, I didn't see that we traded our first to the Browns, so I'm not sure where you got that info. So I don't think that's happened. That would have been across everything. Yeah, that would have been, but all good. Let's look at the film and see if that we see that choppiness, and let's see what we got from the player. I think he's gonna be a great pro. He looks like a starter to me. But let's take a look. All right, coming around the edge, good dip, right? You can bend the corner, right? Good step out move, close. Yep. He likes that step out move. And
not a lot of tools. Not a lot of tools in the bag.
Yeah, he like I think the one thing about him is that he has a plan. He loves that kind of like little like step out move. It's like a juke move almost.
Yeah.
It's like
high motor player. This is a high motor player. This is a guy that's going to give you 115%, just like Nolan Smith every single rep.
Like it's. Let me go back a little bit. Like you'll see.
He's using the same move every time. It's like a Euro step dip. It's not. There's nothing.
Like there's the right inside, right? So what you want to do here, break down this film, is you always play half the man. Like 54 looks like a big boy, right? So you don't want to go head into him and let him swallow you up. But the offensive line's first step is not back, it's towards him. So if Ezeiruaku's got good feet, he's going to beat him by his second step to where he wants to. So he makes him go in, and then that rip hand comes out, the clear is right, and it like the tackle's already beat, right? Tackle's already beat. All Ezeiruaku's got to do is just finish the hoop, and he's there, right? And then he keeps going. I know it's gonna be a little choppy. And then look, he's already there. Like we're already there. We got the rip up, and we're coming in and we're finishing.
The quarterback should have let that throw go a little bit earlier there, but that it is what it is. That's to go back to that last rep, the leaping sack there. I like that. There's two of them in a row there. Those are two good plays I actually like, and it's not. I'm not worried about how he gets there. I just really like the motor, and that was why a lot of people graded Nolan Smith so high coming out 2 years ago.
I like the fact he can play both sides. Not a lot of people can play both sides.
I want you to notice too. You see how he's tighter to the line of scrimmage when lined up over the left side of the offensive line than the right.
He's going to have trouble with guys like people like Lane, who's got really.
Well,
good
he has no chance against a Lane Johnson or a Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have that kind of. That's where he needs development. That's the problem with a player like this. Is I see a guy that has.
He loves that inside out move.
Oh yeah, that's about all he's got there. I mean, that's why I'm telling you, man. You go look at a guy like Abdul Carter, and
wow, we ran out of that. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he made
Who
it.
is that?
Is
that Duke or is that Kansas? No, that's Duke, right? Is that Duke?
If it's Duke, it's Malik Murphy, which it looks like Malik Murphy. Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's crazy. What a play. Good play by the quarterback.
He's also like 6'5", 6'4", 250, so 240, something like that.
Yeah, it's that same move.
And that's the problem, Nate. You know, you're not a guy that's got a lot in the box. You know what I mean? You're not bringing a lot in the bag. Now, your hammer is the nicest. I'm not going to say hammer, pause. Excuse me. Your drill is the nicest thing you're bringing to the job site, but that's the only thing you got. You know, when you need a screwdriver from somebody, you know, this fancy ass drill can do so much, but it can't do the job with some little things.
Yeah. Yeah. You said it literally just happened. I am not saying that. Just FYI. I'm not seeing this trade. He said literally just happened that the Eagles traded the 32nd pick to the Browns. Do we have breaking news right now?
No, I don't know where.
I don't see it.
And I'd feel like a real dumbass sending a text. Hey, did we just trade her? No, they have not done anything as of yet.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, since you know our guy Last Files brung it up, let me ask you: have you heard any rumors or anything from your resources about
this? Is the
Eagles
most
trading?
uptight they have kept their 30 visits in recent years. So
Okay.
if you think that a trade is going to get out from some aggregator early about the Eagles trading their first round pick to the Browns, that's ridiculous. It's not. It's.
And then why? And what does the Browns want at 32? Is that
They could take Travis Hunter at 2 and then come back in for a Jalen Milrow or a Jackson
Milrow?
Dart
That's who it is.
something like that. But that's not. Those things happen on draft night. They don't happen, you know. Right now. That's not. You're signing guys like Terrace Marshall this week. You're wrapping up grades. You got area scouts turning in regrades. You have coaches turning in their grades. I mean, it's, you know, we're basically wrapped up on all that stuff.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we won't entertain that until I hear the jingle on my phone. All these guys we got talking in defense. I know I didn't give no offensive line guys, but let's go with another guy that's also getting I think a lot more buzz as well as he's climbing up the charts a little bit here. I think he had a really good let me bring up my little cheat sheet. He had a really good combine, ran a 4.3. 4.4 at the combine. Started all 13 games, 3 picks. He played at Bama, I think, as well, in Louisiana, I think it was, before he's at Ole Miss.
You're talking about Amos.
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette, via Bama, via Ole Miss.
Ooh. Let me get that down. So the one thing I saw with him is his instincts. His instincts are good. Like, look at the peel right, and then he comes off for the pick right there. He could play press. It looks like no hands there. I hate that. I can't stand that. But he's got great instincts though.
I don't think any corner outside of Hunter or Johnson is sniffing Mitchell or DeJean. So just to put that into the atmosphere here.
Yeah. Let me run some of those plays back again. That was short. Go ahead.
It's just Ole Miss is a funny school to scout because their offenses are extremely designed, which, you know, I'm not going to bash Lane Kiffin for doing what succeeds. But like you said, like this rep here is perfect. There's no press man play. You're lined up in press, and I see 0 press. because you're not worried
I
about
don't
your
like
making
that.
the press. You're simply baiting the pick. You're not baiting NFL quarterbacks into that throw at all.
Yeah.
There's one thing where Amos ends up in college, and he ends up in the no man zone. He ends up in the baiting no man zone, and that does not happen in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's one of those things where I like the player. I really do. At pick 32, I don't think that, if it's fall outs fails and he's there, sure, it's not a bad pick. I just don't think any of these corners outside of Johnson or Hunter possess any sort of Quinyon Mitchell ability or Cooper DeJean ability, who Mitchell was picked 22 and DeJean was picked in the second round. So when I'm looking at these guys, I'm thinking, can I have a plug-and-play NFL corner, which we had 2 of last year, as rare as it is. Mm-hmm. And with all these guys, I see traits. Like you said, Amos's ability to find the ball is exceptional. It really is special. He has a knack for finding the ball.
Yeah.
But it's his process through finding the ball that just doesn't sell me like a Pat Surtain or something like that. He's just not that.
Well, I think the one thing I want to talk about when you name some of these names, these are like elite talents. I don't think
Will Johnson and Travis Hunter haven't done anything in the NFL level, but
But Hunter's we know Hunter's one of one talent.
Maybe. We
Johnson,
don't know, but I'd
he's
hope so.
He's a one talent.
Well, he takes a couple big hits, and we'll see where he's at. But
yeah, no, I agreed. But I'm
what I mean. I mean, he could get laid out on kickoff, bro. Like,
but I'm just saying talent.
It doesn't take Ray Lewis to end somebody's career.
I'm not saying about the kid's toughness to take an NFL hit. I'm just talking about talent, right?
That's great, but Johnny Manziel had a lot of talent. That's you want to talk about talent. I mean, we talk.
Yeah,
about
but
talent.
he wasn't one talent. Like,
he was pretty goddamn good for what he did, man. I mean, that is some of the fucking.
I'm not knocking him.
I'm just saying the thing is with these kids is this class has a lot of good starting level players, especially in the trenches, especially in the defensive line, offensive line. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent there, and it's long-term starters. Like the Eagles signed Kendall Lamb. Kendall Lamb has made a long career out of being a primary backup swing tackle, right? Mm-hmm. Where is Amos's role in the NFL outside of a starting man corner? He doesn't have it. He's not playing special teams. You know what I mean? At least I don't think so. I mean, he didn't play at Ole Miss. So yeah. I just don't see a guy that is a game-changing player. Mitchell had game-changing production at a subpar school, so the question was who he played. Who did he face? Why should I believe he's that good? He went to the Senior Bowl, played press man, which he never did at Toledo, and he shut shit down. Cooper DeJean was a multi-purpose athlete. Can he really play corner? Should he be a safety? Should he be this? Should he be that? They played him in the slot. In my opinion, he was top 3 in the NFL last year at the nickel position. And I think in this year, going into the league, he's top 3 at that position, and he could potentially finish as the best nickel in football at the end of this year. Mm-hmm. Amos, Hairston, any of these guys outside of Hunter and Johnson doesn't even have it guaranteed. He just showed flashes of it. They just don't have that trait to them. They could prove me wrong, but I just don't see it on tape. I see Amos as a good SEC corner that's making plays off of football intelligence and athleticism. Now, off those plays that he's using FBI and athleticism, does that translate to the NFL? Because go back and watch the rep where he's breaking off mid-coverage, or he's not even pressing the guy because he knows the play. Well, in the NFL, that play's not going to look the same. You're not going to know that. So if you give a lackadaisical press at the line of scrimmage, Alan Lazard could blow you off your spot.
Yeah, I think his intelligence and his athletic ability makes up for his
brings him to where we're at today. Which I'm going to swing this full circle and go, oh my God, it's almost like I'm looking at a looser Keely Ringo. But, you're not a Keely Ringo guy. A Ringo brings all the traits, all the FBI, he's just a little stiff. So it's like when I see this and you want me to justify pick 32 with 5th-year roster control or 5th-year contract control, I just can't see it. And I'm a Trey Amos fan. I like him.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to look at this rep because I think it's maybe one of the more clear reps if we can. Like his first step is a left foot jab. Like, look at his step.
Yeah, he's already committing to shutting out the hash. The outside hash. He's saying, I'm going to go ahead and cover out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to work because he's already got a plan, man. What I look for in corners is how do you adapt mid play?
Yeah, and right here, he's looking at the quarterback.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like his eyes are on the quarterback right here.
Yep.
And he recognizes what's coming across.
He's already slowing down because why is he even covering the guy that he's around? He knows he needs to stay in his zone, but he's baiting. He's trying to, you don't have that freedom in the NFL.
Yeah, I wonder what that defense is, right? If he lets the guy from the, which I think is a bad play because isn't that a linebacker?
From what it looks like, they're probably in dime or dime and
no,
nickel
that's
or
a safety. I think that's a safety. So
they're probably in dime right here.
Yeah,
so you got 4-man rush, you got the safety that breaks off, and he's playing hover coverage. He's just kind of hovering in the area.
Yeah.
And then he breaks off and he makes a great play.
Yeah. Here's another one too. Like you're playing.
This should be press man coverage. I should see two hands on the receiver
right. Yeah.
Break up because he has the athleticism to make up for it. So I shouldn't see you playing off at all.
Yeah, like it's nothing. He gives an inside release too. Yep. Right. He lets him go. Maybe because he knows he has safety.
He knows he has help, but that's not. Not everybody.
This was a little bit choppy. I can't get it right. So, but and then he peels off on the wheel because he saw that play. A lot of who was a good pillar too was Asante.
Very good.
Yeah, he was a really
good,
decent.
But he had that twitchy. I'll bring up one that's a little bit low key, but Avonte Maddox was really good at that. Okay. Avonte was very good at switching and peeling off into coverage, and he actually made a play in the Super Bowl that way by just kind of peeling over and getting that stop and sticking to a little bit of man coverage in his area, in his zone. I believe Amos passes off well, which in a match carry deliver defense, that's huge. But am I valuing communication, speed? It all comes into that.
Vangio's a little bit more man, right?
What's
man
that?
Press. Vangio's a little bit more man press, right?
It's the thing about Fangio is it's more an option to the corner. It's more of a what do you prefer? So if you prefer to play press man, we can make it work with press man. If you prefer to play off a little bit, they can kind of, because if you'll watch, Mitchell will come up and press, and then right before the snap, he's already dropped back.
He's bailing. Yeah.
Because he's worried about what motion is happening. So I'm worried about what kind of backfield action they're doing, and that's going to decide where I go.
Yeah. All right. We got another player that looks like could be a late first round pick out of Texas A&M, another edge rusher, Nick Scorton. Started at Purdue, was all SEC edge rusher, 14 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. Looks more of a power rusher. Looks to be in the late round, maybe early second. He was on a 30 visit. So let's see what Mr. Nicky S brings to the table. Let's see what that film looks like here. Don't I have him up here? No, I don't. Do I have him not here? Hold on. Let me edit this real quick. We got to make sure we do it right by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nate, I'm gonna go.
Here you go.
Pee real quick because that's what we're doing.
There we go.
This episode's sponsored by Bud Light. Bud Light, if you want to sponsor me, just let me know. I mean, we can make something happen. Go Birds.
All right, we're going to get Nick up here real quick. I just need to make a quick edit. Oh, no, he's at Texas A&M. What am I doing? All right. And if you guys didn't see in the beginning of the show, make sure we got the merch up, moneypotbetting.com. Go check out the merch until my partner in crime comes back. But we're talking about Texas A&M edge Nick Scorton. And I spelled his name wrong. Put a C there. Nick Scorton. Like I said, pass rusher, 5 sacks, 14 tackles for a loss. Obviously, I'm an old defensive lineman, so I like to see the big fellas get at it. So let's bring up the film and see, look at what we got here.
He's the fastest man alive.
That was a quick-ass piss, bro.
I might not be peeing, dude. I might be doing other stuff. You don't know what I'm doing.
Shit. All right. I am not a big spin guy unless you set it up.
Can we take 1 second and address the alignment that we're looking at right now? Because Texas A&M believes in no laws as far as alignment goes in the defensive line. So
Yeah, it looks
You're
almost,
looking at like basically straight edge rushers on the field right now.
yeah.
They don't. That looks like a safety playing a little shade. You know what I mean? Little zero. Like we're just talking. I know he's dropping back into coverage, but I'm just saying. You got your safety at like a 0-1, kind of looking like a zero coverage here.
So this would be if they were doing like a me-you stunt with the safety in the end.
Yeah,
that would be pretty decent alignment because I could, as the end, I could rush far up. I'm going to make that tackle bail out quick. If you look at the tackle, you look at his stance, right? You can tell he's kick stacking. He's going to kick step back, right?
Yep.
How his feet are aligned. And that'd be a great setup for me and you if they were. I don't know if they're blitzing. I haven't seen the film yet. But
one thing I want to mention here, pre-snap, for the fans watching, that if you just the little stuff, look at the size of 15, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but look at 15 next to opposite Scorton. Look at the size difference, right?
Yeah.
He looks a little bit more built like Nolan Smith, right? 15 looks a little more Nolan Smithy.
Yeah, he's clean.
That is kind of how I'm sure you would agree the NFL's ideology for their defensive ends, where whether it was 3-4 or 4-3, you had a bigger guy and you had a smaller guy. You had speed and you had power. And you'd swap your speed.
You had a strong side end and a weak side end.
Yeah, in being technical, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So Texas A&M does this in college more than most.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're watching a player like this, especially for the Eagles, you have to remember the alignment in which he would be placed in. He's never going to line up where Hunt or anybody else is. But he could line up inside and then line up outside as well. Because this is a player that I don't want to drop into coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I like his pass rush moves from the edge, but this is where his bread and butter is. That 4-eye right there, that 4-eye 3 technique. I'm going to have him put on a few pounds. And I mean, this kid can he can really eat next to Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. I mean, he is built just like Milton Williams. I mean, not with the short arms in a sense, because Milton Williams is kind of built like Aaron Donald, but he's a little bit lighter, but he has the athleticism that I feel like if I can give him a little technique.
Yeah, that was a good rep right there.
Oh, it's a great dude. His tape, man, it really is. Like, that's a weird alignment. I'm not going to give him that at the NFL level. But watch who he's doing it against. I believe this is LSU. And you see just speed to power. That is speed to power. That is so much. He possesses so much more in his toolbox than Donovan Ezeiruaku. So much more. That is a multi-positional defensive lineman in the NFL. He is a beast in a 3-4. Look at the shed there. That was a patient, just nab him up, move the kid out of the way.
So the one thing I'm seeing with him that I like, he's good. Like, he's good on the run. Like,
he's a way better run defender than Ezeiruaku is. And that's
not run defender, but just somebody who moves fast on the run.
Look at that.
Like,
he moves.
Like
he's so much quicker than Ezeiruaku. You see how Ezeiruku's so choppy, and Scorton's just nasty to the ball, man. I mean, he's one of the guys. I mean, that pursuit, dude. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, look, like
this is a first round edge talent.
Like he's like, yeah, let's run it back. Like, watch him moving, not
from
just
a position that I don't think people understand. This dude is 275, 280 pounds. He's not lining up in a 3-4 linebacker position in the NFL ever, but he can do it if you wanted him to.
Yeah, like, because
people are praising 6'1", 240-pound Azeez Ojulari for making that win. Look at that at 6. Scourton's I think is 6'2", 280. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, not just like pass rush moves. But I just like his he plays, you know what it is? He plays fast.
He weighed in at 6'3", 257 at the combine. Okay.
So he dropped some weight.
So Nate, put this into perspective. Guys lose weight for the combine to run faster.
Yeah.
He's gonna play at a heavier weight. So 257 tells me about 277, 267, and about 280 is where I want him at. 280.
This is his best rep though. I love it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at the strength, dude. The reckless abandon that he plays.
Yeah,
with.
like you see him, like he just
plays
fast.
Patiently waits as opposed to Ezeiruaku.
You see him? But yeah, he navigates traffic. You know what I mean? Navigates traffic well.
Reacts. Look at the reaction.
He just
that weak set was going to get eaten up. He knew he was really going to go inside or outside on that kid.
Yeah. Stunt opened up for him.
Nasty. And he took out that. I mean, that is just.
Yeah.
They brought in this kid for a 30 visit for a reason.
Yeah,
this is a trade-up candidate, in my opinion.
He plays fast.
He is a dude. I'm telling you, this kid's one of my. I like Ezeiruaku a lot, but I'm higher on Gordon than I am on Ezeiruaku because I think he has multi-position versatility. Ezeiruaku is a bulked-up outside linebacker at best. He doesn't have another way that he's. I mean, unfortunately, I'm 6'4", 185 pounds, skinny as all get out. You know what I mean? I'm not
solid.
You feel me? I'm never going to look like Ezeiruaku. But Ezeiruaku can never not be what he is. But being so yoked up sometimes makes your movements a little choppy. Whereas you look at a big athletic guy like Scorton, he's just fluid. Just looks natural moving through the offensive line. Yeah. It's just different. That's where I take a guy like Carter who is on a level outside of these guys. You know, we're not talking Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter could play 5, you know. He could play Mike. He could play Will. He could play Sam. I mean, he could play whatever he wanted. I mean, Carter is that good. But Scorton's one of these dudes that I see it. I'm like, oh man, he's got some tools in the bag.
Let me ask you this: at that size, because he would be one of their bigger pass rushers. Does he fit Fangio's edge rusher model? Because I think he likes the leaner guys. I don't think he likes
the leaner guys, but I think that what he wants out of Milton Williams' position, Milton Williams might have been a little heavy for, if that makes sense.
But Milton played that end.
Milton played 4
that 5 tech, right?
And 4. Oh yeah, Milton played 5 and 4 like it was nothing. I mean, Milton did it just at his size and his weight was a little different. I think Scorton puts on weight, and I think Scorton can play that role in this defense. I think he's an interior defensive lineman for a 3-4. I think in a 4-3, he's a true 4-3 edge rusher. So, you know, a team like Buffalo, I think would really like a guy like Scorton. A team like Cleveland, although they're not going to.
Cleveland makes a lot of sense. Cleveland makes a lot of sense.
But that kind of defense, you know, like imagine, let's go back to our Jim Schwartz days. This guy fits, but he also fits, which not all guys do, in the Fangio system. I think he's good enough against the run to play 3 technique a little bit.
So the problem when I see him playing any type of 5 tech is that he's just not big enough.
Well,
and I get what you're saying if you're looking a year or 2 down the road.
Well, the draft is always about projection. So let's remember that. You know, I'm if I bet on whether me or you would have been successful at 21 years old, you know what I mean? There's no telling what would happen here. I mean, we're talking about really young kids. We're betting on whether they're going to succeed or not. Obviously, that's a generic thing. The thing with this kid is, though, I think the frame allows for more weight. Like I said, Donovan Ezeiruaku is a yoked up pass rusher with production.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem is his measurables to a T, they match 81.7% to Harvey Lange. Not a lot of guys know who Harvey Lange is. They match 79.4% to Marshawn Nealand, Dallas Cowboy that didn't play last year because of a knee injury. Ogbonya Okoronkwo, Cleveland Brown, that's not the only one that is somewhat close that had a career. Malcolm Kuntz, there's a 78.3 measurable. Basically what I'm saying is guys that are this yoked up and this athletic usually don't succeed in the NFL as pass rushers because they're too big to play off-ball linebacker and they're not fluid enough to play the edge. And he's stuck between a rock and a hard place here because his measurables and his time match up with guys that did nothing.
What did he run? Do you know by any chance?
Let me grab that for you real quick. Ezeiruaku.
I just wonder where his athleticism kind of.
40 was a 4.62, shuttle 4.19. He ran a 35 or jumped to 35 and a half vert, 6.94, 3 cone. That 22 on the bench though, that was where it was a little
that's
low.
weak.
And then here's what kills me. You got 34-inch arms, 82 3/8 inch wingspan, but you got 9 1/4 inch hands. It's just. I know I'm nitpicking. But
the defensive line. You rather have long arms than like really big hands as a defensive line.
Although you look at a guy like Milton Williams, who was told he couldn't succeed because of his baby T-Rex arms, and he manhandles people. So I mean,
But my thing, I think that you can add strength,
But I think
it's funny the way he plays. He looks stronger than that.
Strength comes with mass. He does. He does. And I think that my disappointment with Ezeiruaku is if he walked into a club or a gym. Let's say me and Donovan Ezeiruaku go to the spa together. You know, and I'm sitting across that spa going, dude, that dude is fucking. You know, what is his workout regimen?
Yeah.
But when you go out and you see a guy like Scorton, who's more country boy, kind of that Jalen Carter build, and he throws up double the amount of reps on the bench, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, who's really stronger? This dude looks like he's built like a Greek god, but yet this dude can throw around weight like it's nothing. And he looks kind of chubby. So it's
22 is weak. I think when I had my pro day at Nova, I think I did 28, 29.
Which is honestly, dude, I look for 25 and up for down linemen.
But see, this was, I mean, we're talking about 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And 20 years ago, everybody was doing over 30. Like my goal was 30 because I felt like that would have helped me sit out, especially coming from a smaller school.
Anaya Smith had like 19. I mean, that's a lot of reps, you know, for a little dude. I mean, Quinton Mitchell had like 20 or 18 or something like that. I mean,
yeah, Mark, I get what you're saying, but from
100%. Listen to where I'm coming from.
From a defensive line perspective, you want a guy with long arms.
I think Scorton has more strength in his body, even though Ezeiruaku looks more yoked up in person. I'm not knocking Ezeiruaku. I'm just saying I said he's choppy, which I'll stand on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that his plan is limited. I think that Scorton reads and reacts better. I think he plays the run better.
Yeah.
And I think his body has more potential to add weight to the frame. You get what I'm saying when I say that, Nate, right? Like I'm looking at a dude who his shoulders are kind of like I'm at, but yet he's got some pudge and some stuff here. But I'm like, man, I could put 15 pounds on this kid and it won't stop his movements.
Yeah.
So it's just different. But then a guy like Ezeiruaku, another thing I'm worried about being so rocked up, and I'll leave it at this, is injuries. He hasn't suffered from it yet, but that's Nolan Smith's only problem is that he's all bone, you know, all muscle and little bone, and you know he's dealing with some nagging injuries.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. Let us go to other one that could. I think this guy is being considered top 50. I'm not sure if he gets into the first round, and that is Mad Max from Kentucky. Maxwell.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if he made it out of the first round.
You'd be surprised?
I'd be surprised if Hairston made it out of the first round. And I'm going to name the Washington Commanders as a team to watch for him.
2-year starter at Kentucky, 6 picks, 10 breakups in 20 games over the last 2 seasons. Took 2 of them to the house in 23. Ran a really fast, I guess one of the fastest at the combine, 4.28. And again, you know, he's on some guys top 50 and going out in top 25. So let's look at the tape. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here from Mr. Mad Max from Kentucky.
The one thing I want to touch on before we talk about Hairston is the difference between read and react football intelligence and read and react physical ability.
Mm-hmm.
Hairston operates off more physical ability than he does football intelligence. I'm not saying that Amos knows more than the game. You can just watch it on tape.
Yeah.
Look at the way he's in his break before the ball is released. The football intelligence is high, but his ability to get to that spot allows him to make that play.
Yeah. See, this, you know what? It's not his fault, but I feel like it's all corners. I feel like it's all corners in college. None of them play like fucking technique. Look at his fight. Like I don't like. You're not even. I mean, do you have to backpedal?
No, I know.
I mean, somebody like a Devontae Smith. If you take that step, you're cooked.
You're cooked.
You're cooked because he's going to eat up the yards, and you're not going to be able to recover. Now, I get it. I don't know what play this is. It could be zone, so he's passing them off a little bit. So it's really not anything he's doing here. I don't know if it's a cover 2, maybe, because he's kind of got that flat area.
Something funny based off highlights here. I mean, you can go off highlights or you can go off all 22, but the sad part is you don't know what the coach called, so it doesn't.
Yeah, you don't. I don't know.
You'll never know. I can't. I'll be honest with you, people. You know, you can make a phone call to certain players. Me and Nate can call professional athletes. That doesn't mean we know who what the play was called. That's the hardest guy to get on the phone with.
Yeah.
You're never going to get that guy to tell you what play was called on each play. I mean, come on.
So that's a little bit better. That was a pretty good.
That was a little bit of what is that? Were they running quarters there?
Looks like it.
So the Kentucky's defense is actually a little bit more similar to Fangio in a sense, because they run a base 3-4. So this looks like a little bit of quarters to me. In a little handoff route that he knows.
Yeah, there's a pass off, right?
Yeah, it's a pass off.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's quarters because
it looks like both those safeties drop.
Yeah, I don't know what the safety in the middle of the field is doing, right where the ref is.
Yeah, I don't know if he's dropping all the way back.
Like, I don't know if he's supposed to be a robber because there's no tight end.
It's still quarters technically, even if he's playing robber, right?
Yeah, like I don't know. Like he's not even moving. Like everybody else is moving, but that guy. I wish I had a red pen. You know, the red dot. There's certain like, what the hell are you doing?
He's watching the tailback.
Why the linebacker's there?
Yeah, I don't know. This college, man. I mean, they run such a weird base technique. I'm going with quarters. This is cover 4.
Yeah, like if that guy was fast, like the gap is there. It's there, right?
Yeah.
If the quarterback throws the ball, kind of like what I don't know, because that's a tough window. Because the guy playing center field probably can get to that hash.
I just love college football compared to the NFL because look, you have three defenders. You have 3 defenders eyeing the one area of the field that they think the ball is going to go to.
Yeah,
and yet there's still an interception.
He didn't even throw it.
That guy's open. He's open.
Yeah, he's
open. I mean,
if you lead him and he's got some wheels,
yeah, he's open.
Because look at the corner. I mean, I'm sorry, the safety, last man. That's supposed to be the last man in your defense. He flat. Like, look how flat that angle is.
Oh, I know.
So bad.
They knew the problem is, though, this is an example of where they knew the play before it was called, and they executed as such as a defense.
Yeah, but good play by Hairston, though. Like, this is a good play.
But the difference between him and Amos, do you see how there's a little bit more split-second reaction from Hairston than there is from Amos?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Amos is in the spot waiting for it, which I don't know how to feel about that.
Oh, good play.
Because I think Hairston's aggression and his physical ability makes his plays, whereas I think Amos's football intelligence and his athleticism works at the college level. I'm just not sure if it's going to work at the NFL level. That right there, I don't see Amos do that.
So that's Texas, right? Yeah, we're in Texas. So who was that?
It could be Bond. It could be Worthy. I mean, it's somebody that's moving.
Because he's moving fast.
Could be A.D. Mitchell. Could be Matthew Gold. But look at the.
He was beat though.
Look at how he makes it up. He's deep. That's fine. But
yeah,
look
he
at
was
how
beat.
He makes it up.
Like, because right now,
good. He gets wrong, bam. But he still makes the play.
He makes the play.
Still makes the play.
Yeah, I haven't seen press though. It's all off ball.
He's not going to play press.
Yeah,
he's too small. He's not going to play press. But he's got. There's some Emmanuel Forbes things you could say, but the ball production isn't there with Emmanuel Forbes. There's more physicality there. I can't agree with Marcus more, man. I mean, I think Hairston's got a chance to. I think Hairston has a chance to be good, really good. It just depends on where he goes.
Chef, his speed and proper training. Chef's kiss, huh?
Hey, Forbes wasn't physical at all, and that's what I'm saying, Marcus. I think. I could see Hairston getting Forbes level ball production at the next level where he's at. Because Forbes had no physicality to his game, but he was at the right spot at the right time all the time.
Yeah, I do agree. You can't teach physicality and ability. That is
you also can't teach want.
Yeah, you can't teach.
Guys just want to be good.
Yeah, you can teach effort.
I'm not going back to Amos real quick. I do like the player. I really do. Can you agree with me a little bit? He just seems a little lackadaisical where I feel like when I see him explode on tape, I should see more scattered instances of that through regular tape, not just his highlights. But
yeah, the problem thing with tape and film, and we're just watching highlights, right? We're watching them make plays.
On highlights when I'm watching you pass off a player to a zone. And then you're already dipping into another guy's zone because you know what's going to happen. That doesn't show anything. That's not it is a great play. It's a great read and react play. But it doesn't, when you're watching that, you have to look at something so small because me and you can't sit back and run it back 50 times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have to go off the little stuff. And the little stuff that I'm going to go off with, because they're not playing the same defense or whatever. Hairston had a plan of attack from the snap. Amos has a plan of attack post-snap.
Okay. Yep.
And I just think that a player like Hairston, with his aggressiveness and his physical abilities, has a chance at being better in the NFL than Amos, who has the build. Because Amos is what you want, dude. He's like 6'1", 6'2", 195 pounds, long, fast. I mean, he's got all those traits about him.
Yeah.
But I'd still bet on a kid like Hairston more.
Yeah, 183 pounds, 5'11", a little light in the ass. But
I need him to be Drew Phillips, and Drew Phillips had a successful had a successful rookie season for the Giants last year. So
I hear you.
If Hairston can give me some production like that, maybe a little bit more, I'm happy. Drew Phillips also had a Kentucky.
All right, that's all I got from a film perspective. So let's talk about some other players. I think those are the four that you could possibly see the Eagles pick in round one if we stay there at 32. Give me a name of somebody, I guess day 2 or 3 that you want to look at who was there for the top 30 visit. Somebody that I don't have film on, but get a little graphic up and get the name up so we can talk about him.
Well, let's stick in the first round and let's talk about Walter Nolan. Because
was he there for a visit?
From what I understand, there's a unreported 30 visit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're going through so much bullshit this year, man. They're trying to push Ezeiruaku as if he was a local pro day because he was a local visit that doesn't count towards the 30 visits. Ole Miss defensive end.
Oh, shit. Ole Miss.
Not Oregon, yeah. Ole Miss via Texas A&M. But Walter Nolan, this is a ultra.
Is he they don't call him defensive ends. Is he an edge rusher?
No, he's a DT.
He's a DT. Oh, he is a DT. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Walter Nolan's not reported.
Who's the guy from Oregon?
It's also not a rule that they have to report their 30 visits. So the kid from Oregon's Derek Harmon.
Okay. I don't know why I got those two.
Walter Nolan, Nolen is how he spells his last name. That's the name to watch for a falling defensive tackle. He's a.
Let's see if I can get some film on old boy.
I'm sure you can. I mean, it's you can find highlights all day on him. We're talking about a number 1 overall high school player coming out. The off the field stuff is not anything legality wise. It seems to be a little bit of a maturity issue, which could lead to the player falling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually have Nolan with Scorton as a player that I could see the Eagles trading up for. I think Nolan is a gamble as far as the person goes, but like I said, when you're that young, it doesn't matter. I mean, if I would have bet on myself at 21, I'd be a poor man. So I think that, this is a kid that possesses unique abilities. And like I've talked about in the trenches, there are really, really solid players. And, I'm not calling this kid an all-pro or anything like that, but I see a guy that can start in the NFL for a long time. I see a 10-year career starter, maybe fringe starter, towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a guy that can produce. And I see a more talented player than Milton Williams. So.
Well, Milt was a third round.
Well, he was a third. That's what I'm saying. If you were to imagine, a Jalen Carter, he's not Jalen Carter. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's not a defensive lineman in this class that's Jalen Carter.
Every day hustle like William.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. I mean, Nolan's got a lot to. He's got a lot to offer. He's extremely athletic. I mean, I see a lot of, like I said, this is a true 3 technique.
He's high though.
Violent hands, very strong at the point of the attack. Good pursuit.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get bullied inside if he's that high. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, it's some sloppy technique. It's some, there's some traits to him that are a little questionable, but I'd gamble on that more than.
Yeah, look at that. Like, look how far downfield he was on that one. That's what I mean. Like, that was a perfect example. Got caught in the traffic and he's high. He's like 5 yards down the field on that one. He tried to swim over and got.
Oh yeah.
Right here, boom. Like he almost knocked off the linebacker. He recovered well.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a talent that you're looking at. I'm gonna put it to you like this.
What was his measurables? You know.
Nolan's got. Let's see what we got here from Big Bad Walter Nolan. Oh, come on.
I like him to see him play a little bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, I got some 6'3". We're looking at 6'4", 296.
He's a big boy.
4.95 40. He bench pressed 225 27 times. He has a 79 and 4/8 inch wingspan, 32.5 inches arms, and 9.5 inches hands.
Okay, so he's 300 pounds. Okay,
this is a true 3 technique. You know,
I didn't know. He doesn't look 300. At least from
he moves a hell of a lot better than 300 pounds. I can tell you that.
Yeah, from the film. So he's a 300. So
he's also 21 on draft night. So
he's a 5 tech.
I don't. No, he's a true 3. He would play a true 3.
He can't play nose. He's too small to play nose.
Well, I mean, that's not the way the Eagles play it, though. The 3 is going to be the 3-4 is going to be Milton Williams. So your 0-1 is going to be Davis, and then Carter kind of cleans up the rest of taking any sort of alignment outside of that. So the guy that's going to back up Carter is a lot harder. They're not worried about that. They're worried about the guy that's going to have Jordan Davis, and they're worried about, who's next to him, which was Milton Williams, who was a multi-alignment player. So they're looking at guys that are going to be in that tweener kind of position.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's 300 pounds, I feel a little bit better, but he's way too high.
He's also one of those, though, like country strong kind of boys.
Okay.
Like doesn't try to be strong, but is a lot stronger than he is, kind of thing. Yeah. Ezeiruaku puts a lot of hours in the gym. If Nolan put those kind of hours in the gym, he'd be an all-pro.
Yeah, well, I think these guys need to fully understand what it takes to make it in the league, especially if you get drafted. Like
you just have to go to college.
You're 1%, bro. Like I understand.
Anymore,
like
you're making millions in college. So
yeah, I want to say I was pretty decent, right? But I wasn't fast enough to make up what it was to be the league. My other measurables measured up, but just straight line 40 speed, that wasn't me. I wasn't twitchy, but I was athletic.
My favorite thing about 40-yard dashes is defensive lineman. Even when Davis came out and it was exceptional, was in which position am I thanking my defensive tackle for running 40 yards downfield? I'm never.
Yeah, that's true.
That's never going to happen. Now your 10-yard split, that says a lot about you.
But for me, for coming from a smaller school, like I couldn't be in the bunch. I needed to stand out, right? I had.
You also couldn't turn down testing, which a lot of them do nowadays. So when there's, a lot of small school guys, you'll see they'll just, I'm going to go do this measurable and I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to go jump 40 inches out the gym and I'm going to have big hands and long arms, but I'm not going to run 40. But I'll do the 10-yard split. And it's like, you didn't have those options back in the day, man. I mean, when you were coming out, it was you were going to do what they tell you to do, and they're going to stack you up against everybody else like the rest of them. And
you know what? And they it's funny, man. They bullshitted me. I'm a legit 6'3" and probably a half, maybe on a full moon 6'4". They gave me 6'2".
Ooh.
And you know what they do? They make your feet stand like this.
Oh yeah.
They make your feet stand out like a V.
Yep.
And I was like, I was like 6'2". I was like, what?
But that takes you out of a percentile though, because as a 6'3", 6'4" D lineman, you're in a different category alone, just being that big.
Damn, why you throwing me out there, bro? Like, come on now. Where I went, we didn't have just a cafeteria for the football team, right? Like, what I mean? We were in general pop. Right? It's in general population.
That's funny as hell.
You know what I mean? We're in general pop, man. So that's funny though. But to your point, second round Marcus Mbow, O-line, Purdue, 6'4", 303.
Another guy to target. My second round, third round offensive lineman that I like a lot is Anthony Belton from NC State University.
Okay, go ahead, talk about him. Big boy, 6'6".
Yep, he was the first reported visit First reported 30 visit for the Eagles. I have him in my right guard of the present, right tackle of the future category, where I think he has the size and I think he has the ability to plug and play right guard and compete with Tyler Steen, while also possibly learning in the wings behind Lane Johnson to be the potential right tackle of the future. I like Belton a lot, man. I'm higher on Anthony Belton than a lot of people. I think that within Jeff Stoutland's program, I could project Anthony Belton to the moon. Now, if Anthony Belton goes to the New York Giants, Anthony Belton, I'm cool with you, bro, but like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry. But you go to Jeff Stoutland, you go to a team that has that kind of development, I see a guy that can find a longer career in the NFL. NC State has quietly produced NFL talent at a consistent rate, going all the way back to the Torrey Holt, Phillip Rivers days. So I see a guy that I know they like, and I've got late day 2, early day 3 grade on this kid. But
that's a high pick, you think?
Belton's got a lot to bring to the table, man. I'm telling you. He offers a Brandon Brooks-esque body with higher athleticism traits.
Nah, I've hung with Brandon Brooks. Brandon Brooks ain't 6'6".
Brandon Brooks is all
6'6".
love 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". I mean, he's all love.
I don't know.
If he's 6'4", then Landon Dickerson's 6'8", because Landon Dickerson is 6'6", 335 as far as I know it.
And the only reason why I said because Brooks is like a circle from a circle. So one of my best friends is Brandon Brooks's best
Brooks
friend.
is a great guy. I've been next to Mailata at 6'4", and I felt like a child.
Yeah, Mailata's different, but see, I didn't like measure myself next to him.
Mailata's different though, dude. He's got that kind of freakish, like.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Mailata, but
Dickerson though, like I'll be honest.
Brooks ain't 6'6". I give him maybe 6'3".
I'll put it like this. God damn, Brooks is 6'3", the Dallas Goedert's 6'8", because I've been next to Dallas Goedert and been like, dude, you are not 6'4", 6'5". Like, dude, I'm 6'4", and you're like right here, bro. Like, I was like, dude, you are huge. So, you know, I don't know the 6'6" on Belton. If I had to see, he's probably more of a 6'5", 325 comfortably. You know what I mean? Like,
he's
that's
not
where I can see.
6'6". I've been next to him. Like, he's not 6'6". I'm telling you, he's not 6'6".
And they just don't want to admit it, but
I'm telling you, he's not 6'6". I'm telling you, he's not 6'6".
Look, man, I'll be honest with you. Mailata could be 6'10". I wouldn't know. I just remember meeting bro and being like, damn, dude, like that's a big man.
Yeah.
But Belton, though, Belton's not a guy, like I said, it's late day 2, early day 3.
Yeah.
He's not a starter from day 1. But he's one of those guys that I think if you bring him into camp and Stoutland takes him under his wing and teaches him right guard, I could see him beating out a Tyler Steen by the end of camp and winning that job. Or maybe it's a week 4 where Steen gets hurt, which he's done multiple times. Belton comes in and Stoutland likes what he sees. I really like the tackle athleticism. I like the oversized tackle athleticism, or the oversized tackles with athleticism, moving them inside and watching them pull. It really is fun, man. I mean, there's some plays that Becton missed on last year, but there's some plays where Becton steamroller, man. A steamroller.
What about that other offensive tackle from William & Mary, Charles Grant?
Grant's more of a project than Belton. But
coming from William & Mary and talking about a day 2, day 3 pick, you got to be a
well.
star.
That's the problem is the cat's out of the bag on Grant. Every single team in the NFL thinks that they can make him, you know, Grant can jump out of the pool. You know, he can jump out of 5 feet of water kind of thing. You know, he's that type of athlete. Ridiculous arms, big hands, awesome athletic score. I feel. I love Marcus's takes on the show. I really do. That's your cousin, and I think it's one of my favorite fans so far. I liked him before I even knew he was your cousin. All right, I'm gonna tell you, the dude is on point with a lot of stuff. But Grant day 3, I can't agree with that. I think he's a day 2 guy. I think somebody reaches on Charles Grant purely based on potential. He has too many athletic traits outside of the tape that are just way too intriguing for an offensive line needy team. For the Eagles, yeah, day 3, if he's there, round 4, late day 3, I could see them if they haven't gotten a tackle, they could move back in for this kind of player. But as far as where he stands within the league, the league is higher than most on him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with you guys. Trying to at least get a little bit of Charles Grant. I know that's all.
Yeah, Charles Grant. I mean, look, man, I'm higher on Belton because I like Belton's mass at the next level.
Mhm.
Grant has all the athleticism and all the arm length, but he has to build the mass. Belton's already built to be a big boy, like get to the league, fill you out a little bit, you know what I mean? Like get some weight on that frame and play right guard inside, and you're pulling you at right guard and they move you to right tackle. I mean, I have high hopes for this kid. Charles Grant is a guy that I think would be in the same position as Belton. I just think Belton is I'm going to say lower ceiling, higher floor player. Grant with a higher floor, lower ceiling kind of thing. Or excuse me, opposite. Lower floor, higher ceiling for Grant.
Mm-hmm. Do you what's his measurables? Like, why is he getting so much?
Out the world big. He's got some really long arms that are like kind of. Come on, where's old Charles Grant? 6'4", 300. We got 34 3/4 inch arms, 311 pounds, 10 1/4 inch hands, 505 40, and he bench pressed 20 times. I mean, just again.
What did he bench?
20 times at 225.
20 times? 20?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to see some type of special number. Like
no,
he's going to get pushed around in the league.
Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. That's another kid. I mean, you got Mbow, you got Campbell, you got Banks. That's your big 3. You got Simmons, who at Ohio State, who has the knee issues. Connerly Jr., I'm not really a fan of out of Oregon. I like Jonas Avenea a lot. Mm-hmm. My guy, take a non-30 visit guy that I really, really like.
Yeah.
Ezeiruaku out of Minnesota. 6'6", 331, offensive tackle, 9.5 inch hands, 33 1/8 inch arms, 81 1/2 inch arm length. He ran a 5.01 40. He had a 4.82 shuttle. He had a 1.75 10-yard, a 29.5 inch vert, 111 centimeter broad jump, which is ridiculous why they put that in that. But 7 1/8 3 cone. I mean, I think this kid is the kind of guy the Eagles could take and really move on some stuff with. Ezeiruaku is more of a non-outside of the thing offensive lineman, but Marcus Mbow, like Marcus alluded to, he's a purely interior offensive lineman. He's more of a 3-position player, kind of a guard center kind of guy.
Yep.
I could see him in a day 2 sense. I don't see that. I see interior defensive line. I see edge rusher. I see something like that happening for the Eagles early. I could also see him trading back. They've got a lot of options.
So out of the 30 visits, anyone you want to end on that we didn't touch on or talk about that's potential there in the first round or early day 2, or even just another player that's not on the list that
Can we go with a fun one here? Jaydon Blue from Texas, the running back.
Yeah.
Jaydon Blue is a fun one because he lit it up during the college football playoff, and he didn't really do a whole lot before that. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the running backs that came before him, you look at like a Bijan Robinson, a Roshan Johnson, a Jonathan Brooks. He didn't really have a lot of chances. But the Eagles brought him in for a 30 visit, which I think was more of a I want to get more on the player.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I didn't think the running back room needed anything.
I don't think so either. I just think this says more to their confidence in A.J. Dillon as a backup. I don't think A.J. Dillon has any guarantee to make this roster at all. I think that you have Barkley, you have a Shipley, you have a Ty Davis-Price, and a Lou Nichols that they don't carry a lot of weight with. But they've taken visits from Texas running backs for a while now. They had Bijan and Roshan in the same cycle for 30 visits, and they have Jaydon Blue in this time. So I don't know if they just have some sort of thing with Steve Sarkisian where they're just going to bring in running backs in order to figure out which defensive lineman to draft, because they just took Moro Jomo that year, and then they might just draft Alfred Collins or one of the two other guys that are in this class. So maybe that's the case. I just think Jaydon Blue is an interesting home run hitter with special teams upside that they could target on day 3. This could be a guy that they take in that, 4th round spot, early 4th round. And just to bring in, do some kick return and some stuff like that.
Do you think a tie for him in 4th round?
I think that just due to lack of production in college and the fact that he doesn't really have any measurables or 40 times that jump off the screen. I mean, he ran a 4.38, 40 at 5'9", 196 with less than 30-inch arms and less than 8 1/4-inch hands. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he had a lot of home run plays in the playoff. And I think that teams are valuing that higher than the media is.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm looking at some highlights. I was thinking about bringing up some highlights, but it's just going to be.
He's not necessarily worth that. I mean,
that's how I was thinking.
College stuff was the only. If I had to leave the fans with a name to watch for like a day 3 guy would be Upton Stout, who is a nickelback from Western Kentucky. Senior Bowl invite, small, but he's feisty as all get out. He would play this Chauncey Gardner-Johnson nickel role, which he played in New Orleans, not safety that he played with the Eagles. But Upton Stout is a small, undersized guy with a lot of fight, a lot of grit that I think if we broke down the tape on him, I think we'd be fans. It's just his size and athleticism is kind of setting him back as far as a day 3 guy.
Okay. Yeah, you guys really dig deep with the day 2 and 3s and guys in the rounds 5 and 7 and really finds those gems.
Sad part is though, I mean, out of today's just highlights that we glanced over, I mean, Scorton's probably the only one that actually put on NFL level highlights. I mean, even the Nolan highlights that we showed, there were 0 NFL level plays that happened during those highlights. And again, we're not breaking down all 22. These are just highlights that we can get off Twitter.
Yeah, these are just quick. We're not doing.
We're not claiming to be, we're not Greg Cosell over here, but you can see things.
I'm better than he is, but that's cool. Keep going.
Yeah, I couldn't give you that. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you that. But you know what I mean. I mean, when you come down to looking at guys like Ezeiruaku and Scorton and all that, I mean, we're looking at players at 32 that are not top 10 picks. So you start talking about Carter and all these other guys, Hunter, and you're getting into a whole different world of player. I think this draft's probably about a 12 to 15 player draft as far as first round talents go, like legitimate first round talent, which is a thing in the NFL. So I'd say about 12 to 15. I don't have my number set on that yet. I'll try to get that before the mock draft, but excited to see where things go, man. I mean, and maybe we're trading for the 2nd overall pick. So, you never know.
Right.
You're trading up the draft door.
Yeah, I thought somebody say some shit like that we should trade all our picks for the 2nd pick to go get Carter. In
a hypothetical Madden world that works, but financially, unfortunately, Lord,
I was just like, no, it doesn't. That's not going to work out. But for next week, we will be doing our mock draft. There will be draft week, right, on that Thursday. So should be fun to kind of do one round. We'll do one round mock draft, and we'll flip a coin or something on who gets the first pick or not. So most of it will be.
We did pretty well last year. You sniped me on Quinyon Mitchell, so I had to take Terry on Arnold, but I did go corner for the Eagles. So
who did I have for Mitchell? I forget. We did.
I had him like the Vikings at 11, which just made my blood boil. They didn't even think about doing that, which they should have. I mean, they didn't. I think they signed Stephon Gilmore after the draft. They didn't even have a fart of a starting corner.
Yeah.
And Nate takes Quinyon Mitchell for him, and I've been hammering the table for Quinyon Mitchell all offseason. And I'm like, dude, this guy's perfect for the Birds, and he snipes me in the mock draft.
I think this one's going to be. This one will be a little bit fun. Because I think it really starts at 3.
Oh, it does. Oh,
yeah. I think it's whatever the Giants do.
Well, whatever the Browns do dictates the Giants. That's what's fun. is
whatever
the Browns decide to do is going to make the Giants do something, which is making one shitty franchise the result of another shitty franchise, which is just awesome. You got to love the NFL.
All right. Two shitty
franchises
trying to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. They don't know what they're doing.
I love it. All right. So this is, hope you guys got some info. Hope you guys learned a little bit along the way, and hope you guys had some fun, man. Appreciate everybody jumping in and out. For those who did, Lost Foul, still haven't seen anything. I think you're lost about this damn trade.
Hey, dude, I'm down for it. Though. Yeah. Just give me the conversation. Yeah. I'm down for it. Give me the update. I'll talk about it all day
long. For myself, this is Moss Money. That's Ernie B. We will see you guys next week for Next Money for our mock draft right before draft week. I know there's so many out, but we haven't got one in, so we'll have fun just doing a quick mock. No trades, just pure mock.
Yeah, it's a me and you mock. Nate does it from the view of the player, and he looks at the rosters, ahead of time. And then I do it from a sense of the GM, what I feel like the front office would do in that position. So it's a cool back and forth. It resulted in some cool picks last year.
I wonder how many picks we actually got right.
We didn't go after. I was just going to say, I wonder if this year we should try to actually figure out if a number we can nail. You know what I mean? No trades, just who's stuck and picked. How many do we get right?
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I might go actually.
I'll put a teaser out there. It's
Billy
fans. I got a fun one for Dallas. I'm just gonna
for those folks who do like the draft and stuff like. You know what? Let me find it before we go. I'll put it in the chat of our last year's mock.
Yeah, we did go.
I can find it real
Marcus
quick.
Wants the coach point of view. I can't give it to you, Marcus. I'm sorry. I think about the numbers too much. I'm sorry.
What's he looking for?
He just said need a coach's viewpoint. And I said, well, man,
Yeah.
That coach is listening to Nate and he's listening to me.
All right, let me see if I can dig real quick for our mock draft that we did last year.
It was same time last year.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. No. Let me go back. While we're waiting for me to put a mock in the chat for you guys, Ernie B, any surprises that you're hearing from anything going on in terms of I guess we'll keep it with the Eagles. In
the
draft.
Colts will eventually trade for Dallas Goedert.
That's
eventually they will trade for Dallas Goedert. Eventually,
and I think
Donovan and Chris Ballard will be able to agree on terms, and Dallas Goedert will be an Indianapolis Colt. That's my hot take.
And then I think you were spot on. I think you were one of the first ones to call about Justin Simmons.
Yeah, that's kind of a no
for sure.
Thing. Yeah, he. Nate was telling me we didn't have any safeties. I said, "What about Justin Simmons?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, he's kind of talking as if he's already part of the team."
Yeah, I know. He's like Reed. He's like Reed. I was like,
he said we. So I'm like, all right. That's the way we're doing it, bro. That's you said it. I didn't say it. It's what it is.
Oh man. Oh, we did do trades. It looks like we did do trades.
No. Oh yeah, because you sniped me for Quinyon Mitchell. I believe you traded Minnesota up to go get Quinyon.
All right, we did do trades.
He's praying on my downfall, y'all. Just know he's praying on my downfall. He don't want me to have a good mock.
There we go. There it is, y'all. So for those who want to check out our mock draft from last year, I just put the link in the chat. Check it out. See what you guys think. I'll probably watch it actually before next week just to see how we did. It'd be interesting to see how we did. Because we did do it with trades.
A few times last year. It's pretty heavy cringe for me, but I'm down for it.
So that should be fun. Again, thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you guys next week. This is Moss Money. I am Moss Money. That's Ernie B. We will catch you guys next week. Go Birds.